Flosstube, welcome to December, the third day of Vlogmas. Hi Flosstube, how's it going? So next I'm going to work on creating the dried orange and cranberry garland. And this is actually the first time I've ever done this, so we're going to learn together. But I've dried my cranberries. I showed you this yesterday. I don't know how far these will go. I have a 2-pound bag from Costco. I think it was like $3.99 of cranberries. And so I've got my cranberries, I've got my orange. I have my smallest, see if you can see that, doll needle, because I wanted to have a big eye. And what I'm using for the garland thread base is, let's see, what does this say? Marysville Carpet Warp, 800 yards, $1.80 for hand-loomed rugs. So this is courtesy of a really good friend of mine at Stitch Group. She gave me a couple big bags of vintage stitching stuff, various. Excuse me while I go yell at my kitty. Sorry about that. She's not supposed to be on the counter. Anyway, so she gave me a large bag of, there was like some, you know, the things that come in the ball, crochet thread. There was a lot of crochet thread. There was a little bit of yarn. This was in there, and this to me looked like it was the perfect weight. I would say it's probably like a 5 weight, maybe a little bit heavier, but I thought this would be perfect to use. So what I've decided is I'm going to do them about a yard at a time. Now, if you aren't aware, of course this is not an exact science, this is just something I was taught, that a yard is about from your nose to your thumb with your arm extended. Now I'm a shorter person, so my yard's probably a little shy. If you're taller, have longer arms, yours is probably a little bit longer. But I like this drape. I didn't want to go too far. Let me think about this. Maybe I want to do 2 lengths. I think I'll do 2 lengths, and I'll just string them from each end. So I'm going to do two yards. I'm just guessing, and then I'm going to add another maybe 8 inches on the end to do a loop or to tie garlands together. So I have this threaded, and I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if I'm going to go from end to end. I think I'm just going to start with an orange. And here's my orange, and I'm feeling pretty certain that the finish is going to get worn off of this needle, so I should probably wipe it off when I get done. But this is how I did it. So I just strung it through there. If you recall, I'm going to get this to the middle somehow. I decided that to dry these to about the stage of fruit leather. So when I say fruit leather, meaning that the inside here feels like the outside is definitely dry. So I've got an orange on there, and I'm just going to start popping some cranberries. Now, there weren't really any good instructions. I mean, there were tutorials where people have done this, but it didn't say quite how to do the cranberry. So I'm just going to go from end to end. You know what? I'm going to back up, and I think what I'm going to do is tie a knot. Again, I'm just making this up as I go along. I think I'm going to tie a knot where the orange is so that the cranberries don't slide behind the orange. And let's see, let's move that down a little bit. Bear with me here a moment. Like I said, I am new at this, and we're making it up. Okay, so I just made a little knot, and I'm going to pull it back closer to my orange, put my cranberry on there, and let's just see how many cranberries we can do before it looks like it's time for another orange. So as I was researching this, we have a lot of wildlife around here. If you've watched my channel or my Instagram for any length of time, you know I have a lot of wildlife. We have a lot of birds, We have turkeys, we have deer. People who live further down the road from me say they've seen elk on the canyon, on the other side of the canyon. I have not myself seen that, but I'm not always looking for them either. Of course, we have, I don't know, 3 different kinds of squirrels, I think. Pack rats, those are not my favorite. Bunnies, all sorts of things. But what I've been meaning to say is that one of the channels that I was watching, or one of the tutorials that I looked up, said that once you've done this, so I'm making these for my house. Once you're done with these, that you can hang them outside and the birds will eat them. So that is my plan. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's make it 8. 8 cranberries between. And that might depend on the size of your cranberries. I think that looks like a good length. I'm going to tie another knot. Just a simple knot just to keep the berries from moving around. And put on my next orange. I have some lemons here too, so I'm going to like change out the sizes and the types of citrus that I'm using. Pretty simple, very relaxing. So this is how, I'm just going to turn this around. This is how it's looking so far. So my plan right now is to hang these in my kitchen above the cupboards there. I may put some on my hutch. I don't know. I'm not sure. I lost my needle here. I'm not sure how many I'll have when I run out of steam. I may put them on an artificial tree. I may hang some outside as well. I'm not sure, but I just thought this was a fun project. I've wanted to do it for quite a while now, and it just seems like it's something that I never get to. So I'm making time this year during my slow Christmas to do the things that I wanted to do, and this was one of them. So there is how you make a cranberry garland. Now, don't try to do the whole thing at once, because you'll be stringing, cranberries down a very long length of thread. Boy, that one's stubborn. Because you can always tie them together. So that's it. I will post pictures of what I get done. I may get it done today, and it might go up with this video, or it might go up with another video. This is fairly inexpensive. Like I said, the cranberries were, I think, $3.99 at Costco for that big bag. The oranges are a little bit more expensive, but just buy the oranges. You don't have to get ripe ones. In fact, I would recommend not to get ripe ones. I would recommend getting ones that are a ways from getting ripe, not green, although green ones might be pretty too, I don't know, to dry, because these are not things that you're going to eat, and they don't need to be picture perfect. There we go. Isn't that pretty? So on to the next, whatever it's going to be. The first garland is up, and I don't think I could be more thrilled at how that came together. That is just what it needed. It's perfect. I love it. Love it. We're going to do a check-in on see how the brown sugar is doing with our new little handy-dandy doodad. Several of you commented yesterday that you have these as well and that they work great. And oh my gosh, it is. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. Awesome. So I'm just going to seal this back up. We're going to call that one a winner. And we may check in again, probably baking day. But yeah, that worked out great. Highly recommend. I checked with my daughter and son-in-law to see if my granddaughter followed my Flosstube. I know she watches them once in a while, but they said she wasn't watching them. So I feel pretty confident that I can share this with you. The dress I'm making her is this one right here. It is B. This is Butterick B4790. Butterick, Simplicity, all the major companies have started carrying, actually they've done this for quite a while, where they reprint retro patterns. And this one happens to be from 1952. I may have mentioned before, my granddaughter loves vintage clothing, and she has outgrown the 2 vintage dresses that were actual vintage dresses that she has. I'm going to make this because she loves red. I'm going to make this out of a beautiful stretch red, it's kind of a cranberry color velvet panne. And I got a really good deal on this. I think this calls for 3 3/4 yard of 60-inch wide. I got it for about $18 on sale, so it was a dandy deal. Actually seeing this is what kind of made me go here and decide to make her a dress. It's very simple. It's a wraparound. It's probably going to take more time to cut it out than it is to sew it. I have not decided on if I'm going to do a self hem all the way around and not do the bias tape, or if I'm going to be able to locate some satin bias tape in time to finish this and get this mailed off to her. So this is the project that I'm working on, and I will take you along. I thought I'd share a little bit of the process that I go through to make a garment. This is the pattern. I generally don't trace out the patterns. I usually just cut them out from the tissue paper, but in this case, I believe she's really going to like this dress, and I'm probably going to make more than one. And she is only 12 and she'll be growing. So I'm going to take advantage of the 3 sizes that are available in this project, and I'm going to iron out first the tissue before I trace it so that I get a perfect trace. I will definitely no steam, and just put your iron on low and very carefully iron it out, and you will have a much easier time tracing out if that's what you're going to do, or pinning and cutting out and pinning on your pattern. So I've always done this. It has served me well. When I was first sewing, I started sewing when I was 5, but I didn't get to use the sewing machine until I was 9. But I took a lot of shortcuts, and shortcuts really in the long run just add a lot of frustration and aggravation and hair pulling. So there's a lot of tips. This one is one of them. And another that I'll share, and I'll probably share again, is press your seams, every seam, as you go. That will give you the best garment construction. I think that's probably the best advice that I ever got, and I ignored it for years, and would always get very frustrated at some point during the process. And once I started doing it, it definitely made a difference. Several people have asked me to show my Thanksgiving cactus. These are Thanksgiving cactus, means that they bloom at Thanksgiving, not at Christmas. Most of what you purchase today in the stores are actually Thanksgiving cactuses. Rarely do you find a true Christmas cactus. You can tell which kind they are by I think they're called zyodes. If they're pokey like those are Thanksgiving cactus. So this one has several blooms that are done, and it's also still budding out. This particular one, this yellow one, I got the start from Ginger Gerald. We traded pieces of cactus, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the good ones. There's more yellow up in there. See, this is my coral one. This I got as a start from my Aunt Jackie, who is the eldest sibling of 9 of my mother's eldest sibling. It also has several that are done and lots more buds coming. This is more of a red. I also have white. This is another red. It's a little bit different kind of red. I also have some fuchsia pinks. They are closer to done. They were some of the first that were blooming. And there's another red one in there in between them. This particular one, a friend at my office gave me. He had thrown a bunch of branches or pieces of his Christmas cactus or his Thanksgiving cactus in the garbage. I fished them out. That's actually what that one is. And I potted them, and he saw that I did that. And then on my birthday, he gave me another big one. There's another red one, another pink one that is pretty close to done. This is my oldest cactus. Here, it's also a red. I've had that one since I was like a sophomore in high school. And this one is another red that I broke off pieces from, or pieces that broke off from one of my other cactus, and I just stuck them in a pot. It also has white in it. Same thing, they broke off and I just stuck them in the dirt, and then they go. They're all getting rather too big for the area that they're in. They look gorgeous when they're all blooming. As I said, this isn't really their peak season, but there's still a lot of them that are coming. I don't pull off or deadhead these. They can actually kind of damage that particular spot. I just let them drop off, and they drop on the floor, and I pick them up and I keep them in these 2 little dishes. The reason I do that is I had read somewhere it's really pretty to take these and put them in the sauce, so to speak, when you're making paper, homemade paper, and they turn out really pretty. So there's all of my cactus. Actually, those are all of my Thanksgiving cactus. I have a couple others that I will show you. This is my one true Christmas cactus, and it is growing from starts from my friend Chris. She gave me a couple of pieces, and it looks like it's just getting ready to bud out. So hopefully it will be here by Christmas. This is also a type of Christmas cactus. I don't know the name of it. It hasn't bloomed yet for me. I've had it for about 3 years. 2 years, 3 years. And I started it from just a few little fronds like this from my friend Robin, Pocket Robin. And it loves the pot. It's growing great. It just hasn't bloomed. But when it does bloom, it has little tiny, I think they're pink flowers on the very end. So I haven't managed to make it bloom yet, but hopefully someday it will bloom. We're going to wrap up this 3rd day of Vlogmas with a little recap of what I worked on today. I did get my granddaughter's project traced and the tracing cut out. So I got that started. Worked on the cranberry orange garland and did a check-in on the brown sugar, which of course is softening up very nicely. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was trees. So I have a couple here. These are 2 of a set of 3 of alpine trees. I think the tallest is maybe 3.5 foot. This is like 2 foot, and then I have a 1 foot one that's on top of the hutch. I have these 3, and then I have another like a 7 foot artificial tree that I put out once in a while. These are all very old. They're not lit, and I actually like them that way because I can use them for decor other ways. I probably bought this when my son was a baby, so I'd say they're about 25, 26 years old. What I wanted to share with you is, and I don't know if newer trees are better, but these older artificial trees, when you pull them out of the box and you go to fluff them, and by the time you get done, your hands just feel like they're on fire. There's like a bazillion little tiny cuts from the fiber that is used in the trees. And so what I wanted to share with you is I've learned, and I use these. I put on a pair of latex gloves. I keep these on hand for when I'm working on my vintage sewing machine. So when I'm working with, whether I'm working on the wood or I'm working on something where I'm polishing the machine or polishing the stainless steel or whatever, I wear these. So you can pick these up really inexpensively at like Harbor Freight, probably Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, wherever. You may have them on hand from the pandemic, I don't know. Anyway, I use these. I put them on, and then I start with my trees. And if you've ever just kind of taken a tree out of the box and kind of shook it out and called it good, I will say that even though it's kind of a tedious process, it makes all the difference in the world if you take time and you fluff out every branch of your tree. And to do that, you want to start at the bottom, and you just go from branch to branch, and you untwist every single, oops, let me get it up there, every single little twig, branch, make them look kind of even, branch it out, and then turn the tree and go to the next one. As I said, it can be kind of tedious, but this is a great thing to turn on some Christmas music, turn on your favorite holiday movie, pour yourself a glass of wine, maybe some coffee with Irish cream in it, however you want to do it, and then undo these individually before you put on your lights and you put on any of your decorations. So I have a couple of these that I'm going to fluff and tease out, and that's going to be the end of my Vlogmas day 3. So thanks for joining me. I am so surprised and really delighted with all of the response that I've got to Vlogmas. This is fun for me. It just kind of, I share my day with you, and we get to, do Christmas together. So until tomorrow or the next day, not sure, I will see you then.